But when people say, Pace, why don't you like doing direct to agent? This is exactly why. You're just, it's another level of games. It's like talking to a seller is a skill, but then having to talk to a seller through an agent that has completely different objectives than you do and trying to get them to understand what you're trying to accomplish is just another layer of complexity. And so you got to find the agents that actually understand the game, which is really, really challenging. So I don't mess around with direct to agent. When people go, hey, I got a deal, I got an on-market deal, man, good luck with that. I'm not going to waste my time because your biggest challenge there, Nathan, is you never actually talk to the seller.
Correct.
You dicked around with not you, but you did you learned a lot, right? But you spent a lot of time with an agent who had no intention of actually helping you out getting a deal done.
Right.
So what do you got for me today?
So I came across a guy and he's got a hotel that he's trying to sell, open to seller financing.
Okay.
I have no idea where to go from this.
Okay. So it's always the same thing. I'm going to give you guys always the same answer that nobody ever wants to hear, but I'm going to give you the same answer every single time. And we've already talked about this, ironically, Nathan. Where do we start when I have something I don't know what to do with? We always start with the buyer in mind. So who else owns, what city is this in?
This is in West Virginia. It's in, I got to pull, hold on. Let me
pull it up. We'll pull it up. We'll do a little digging real quick. I'll show you guys how easy this is. So again, people go, I got an opportunity, but I don't know what to do with it. It's always the same answer. It's always the same answer.
It's Smart Hotel in Beckley, West Virginia.
Beckley?
Yes, Beckley.
Perfect. West Virginia. All right, so here we go. Watch how easy this is. Okay, so we got Beckley, West Virginia, 25801, right? Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in hotel. Now, what you're going to get is you're going to get a lot of hotels that are in here that are, here we go. This is probably a perfect one. $45 a night. This hotel right here, Travelodge by Wyndham. Okay. This is a really great person to talk to right here. Because I imagine if you got a hotel that somebody's willing to sell or finance, it's probably something similar to this style. Something that's not like an A class. It's probably a C class or something. I wonder if West Virginia has any A class hotels anyway.
So it's 125 room unit. It actually has part of it is an extended stay and the other part is just short term.
Cool.
And it's actually right there in that area off of 64.
Right here.
Where you're at. It's that green area to the right. Yeah.
There you go. So this is where all the hotels are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so wouldn't it be smart for you to talk to one of the owners of one of these properties and say, "Hey, I've got a property near you that that I've got under contract, or I'm talking to. Are you guys in the market of buying more stuff?" Because imagine, Nathan, this is where people get stuck. Imagine you magically get a contract on this right now. Change your thought process right now. You have a contract on this property right now. What do you do now?
Got to find a buyer.
Oh, should have started with that. Nathan, who's your customer, bro?
My customer is the buyer.
Your customer is the buyer. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to have a business without actually having a customer. This is interesting, right? It's like, would you go build a hospital in the middle of the desert where nobody's getting hurt or sick?
Probably not.
Probably not. You're not going to make any money, right? So same thing. Would you go get a wholesale deal without knowing what somebody would actually pay for it? We never do. We never do. Even at this stage in the game, we always verify with our buyers. Hey, we've got an appointment today. Okay. Got an appointment today at this house. Need to know where you would be sight unseen on this deal. Right. We have a list of about 5 or 6 VIP buyers. They go, well, I'd be at 300,000. They already know. Then I follow back up and I text every one of them, hey, didn't get the contract. We're going to follow up with them in 30 days or whatever else. And they just know what's going on. And I'm communicating with 5 buyers over and 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 over all the time in our local market. So when we run into something that I don't currently have a buyer for, Before I even go and negotiate or even try and find anything out about that seller situation, I always go and find a buyer first. It's the same answer every single time. Eric, or Nathan, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking through you because this is something that comes up so frequently. Hey, I found a multifamily deal. What do? Find a buyer. Find somebody you can talk to about the deal, right? So many people think that they can go start a minivan dealership in Beverly Hills and they can make a lot of money. Ain't nobody in Beverly Hills is buying a minivan. They're buying Cadillac Escalades or Land Rovers. What are you doing? And on the contrary side, nobody in El Paso, Texas even knows what an Escalade is. Okay? They drive broken down minivans that Albuquerque didn't even want. You know what I'm saying?
All right. No, that makes sense. So I'm going to go start calling hotels in that area.
There you go. So you skip trace the buyer or the owners of already existing properties near there, and you go, hey, I've got a property I'm looking at. Are you guys in the market to buy more of this? Right? It's always the same thing. And when I do this, okay, here's a good example. Watch this. Watch how easy this is, bro. I'm going to show you how easy this is. I did this last time. If I get somebody to pick up the phone, you know it's legit. All right. So where would I go if it's a multifamily deal or a hotel or something along those lines? I'm going to go to LoopNet. Okay. So let's go down to hospitality. Okay. Let's go down to West Virginia?
Yeah, West Virginia. Beckley.
All right. So check this out. Where is Beckley? Where is it near?
It's near Fayetteville. Yes, it's farther south.
Okay, there it is, Beckley. Look at that. Oh, that's your property right there. It's already on the market.
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't that interesting? Okay, so there's 2 properties on the market right now. Actually, he's the only one on the market, but for some reason, they have 2 little things on it. Okay, there you go. What's your purchase price on the deal?
$4 million.
He wants $4 million for seller finance.
Well, no. So the terms are negotiable. He wants $4 million cash. So I'm actually talking to a wholesaler, not the owner, but I can talk to the owner. He said I could set up a call with the owner, but the terms are negotiable. They're trying to retire and they just don't want to deal with that anymore. They just want to get their money and go off and to ride to the sunset.
Okay, so I'm confused now, Nathan. You started this by saying they're interested in terms, but now you're telling me they want $4 million in cash. Which one is it?
No, both. They're interested in terms or cash.
Okay, got it. So what are the terms they're interested in? We don't know that yet, right?
We don't know that yet.
Okay.
But the wholesaler, he said they wanted 50% down and then they would seller finance the rest. And then I talked to him this morning and he said they would probably come down off of that. And I said, oh, I would need to talk to them directly to kind of figure out the, the terms and everything. So.
Okay. So Nathan, this is what I look at that. If somebody says, well, I want a chunk of money up front, what do I automatically know? And you're newer, so you're not going to have this answer, but I know a lot of people in the side comments will. What strategy would I follow if somebody wants a large down payment on a seller finance opportunity? See, everybody in the side comments already knows Morby method. So what is the Morby method? Do you know what that is?
I don't, not really. I mean, I have an idea, I think, but not.
No problem. Let me tell you what the Morby method is. Okay. The Morby method satisfies when a seller, okay, Nathan, when a seller wants a large chunk of money up front, right? Because most of the deals that I'm doing, seller finance, most of the deals I'm doing are going to be 10 grand down, 20 grand down, 30 grand down. Anything beyond that, I start going, I don't want it. I want to acquire as many deals as I can with the amount of capital that I have. In fact, I want to try and get into deals with no money out of pocket. That's like my main objective. Is it possible on every deal? No, it's not. Of course it's not. But we're trying to come up with strategies all the time that allow us to do that. So the Morby method actually solves when a seller wants a large amount of money. So what do I do when a seller wants a large amount of money? Number one, get better at negotiating. Okay, so this is why you talk to the seller directly. Like today, I'm going to be talking to a seller directly at 10 a.m., so in an hour and 15 minutes, about a seller finance deal, and I imagine the seller's going to want a very large amount of money down. Okay, you guys will see me have this conversation. So either A, get better at negotiating, which, you know, for some people that are brand new, that's going to be a challenge. B, have the seller do a cash out refi. Okay, so they can go get their own cash out refi. If this person owns the hotel for $4 million free and clear, they could go to a bank, okay, and ask for how much money. Nathan, you're newer to this industry, so if I go down and I want to get if I want to get a cash out refinance on a $4 million property, what's the typical amount of money I'm going to be able to get from my lender, percentage wise?
I know on single families, it's 80% normally. I don't know about a hotel.
Multifamily, you're going to be about 60 to 70% max. Okay. So that means if this seller went and got a cash out refi, they would get $2.5 million or so.
Exactly what they wanted.
From a bank. They're going to have an interest rate of probably 5.5 to 6.5% on that cash out refi, right? Because now interest rates have gone up. And then you can take over that new cash out refinance subject to in first position. And the remaining $1.6 million in second position could be seller finance to you with whatever structure you want. 0% interest, 0 payments for 5 years because the seller just got $2.5 million. Like I've got a deal going on right now with Alejandro Alvarez that he's negotiating where if I bring the down payment, the seller will do 5 years, no payments, no interest for the seller's second position seller finance. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. If you don't have credit to go out and get a loan on your own, which is the Morby method. The Morby method is the opposite of this. It's the opposite of this. It means that instead of the seller getting the loan, I go get the loan for 70% in my name. So I don't trouble or hassle the seller with having to go get the loan and wait for them and ask for an update all the time. That's the problem with the seller doing a cash out refi, is that the seller is now going and doing that work. And I have to constantly follow up and babysit them and feel like weird about following up with them on getting a cash out refi so I could take over their property, basically $0 out of pocket. So do I still do that? Yeah, a couple times a year. But I used to do it a lot more about 5 years ago. I used to do that a lot because I didn't have the credentials and the balance sheet and all the things that I have today that I could go out and get my own loan. So I would trouble and really encumber that seller and say, why don't you go get a cash out refi of $2.5 million and I'll take over that house, that property subject to, then you can seller finance the second position. And I did that a lot because I had no other options. The downfall for that way is that I am a freaking nag all the time on that seller. I'm constantly nagging that seller. Hey, how's the cash out refi going? How's the cash out refi going? And then after the 15th time of you following up, lenders take a long time. It just is like, okay. I feel bad every time I follow up with this person. Whereas in the Morby method, I go out and I obtain the 70% loan. The person we use primarily for this is we use myinvestorloan.com for this. So myinvestorloan.com will give me that. Or I use Marcus and Millichap for commercial properties. Okay, Marcus and Millichap will give you loans on hotels. They'll give you loans on dirt. They'll give you loans on multifamily, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. Deshaun says, this is really hitting home. I have a situation very similar to that with 15 single family homes. Thanks. This helps a lot. No problem. I've talked about this strategy 1,000 times inside of this private community. You can go watch other content on it. I would go watch the Morby method Zooms. We have a bunch of Morby method, like I think we do, Tanisha. We have Morby method strategy all by itself, don't we? A couple of Zooms dedicated to Morby method. Okay, cool. Thank you, Tanisha. You're amazing. All right. So I can go to Marcus and Millichap on apartment complexes, mobile home parks, hotels, etc. My investor loan is better for single family homes. Okay. We now know where these loans come from, everybody. Give me a yes. Marcus and Millichap, by the way, if you guys went and you watched the multifamily series that I did, Marcus and Millichap, my lender, actually comes into that Zoom, and his name's Jamie Litzler, and he comes in multiple times and he explains the process and that, yes, this is what they do. I go, do you care if I get 70% of the money from you, Jamie Litzler at Marcus and Millichap, and then the other 30%, the seller will seller finance, and I'm in the deal, no money out of pocket? And Marcus and Millichap goes, I like that. We have no problem with that. You just have to do it a specific way. And we actually walk through that in that Zoom. Okay. So I go get that 70%. And then the other 30%, the seller carries for whatever the time period is, right? I tell them I want 0% interest and 0 payments for usually 5 years, because then that allows me to get to a point where I could refinance them out 5 years later as the property appreciates. I pay down the loan a little bit, I stabilize it, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, we still have a similar problem. We know how to acquire it now. Like I could call that seller right now, Nathan, and say, hey, if I bring you $2.5 million as a down payment, would you seller finance the other $1.6 million at 0% interest and 0% or 0 payments for 5 years, so I could stabilize the property, repaint, do this, do that, and they go, absolutely, I would do that. Cool. Well, guess what I have to do? I have to underwrite this. Okay. I have to underwrite this with my new payment of $2.5 million. Plus, here's what's great about Marcus and Millichap. Marcus and Millichap will actually give me construction funds as part of my loan with them. I can get what we call just like a temporary interest-only loan with Marcus and Millichap. They'll give me the money for the purchase, and then they'll give me the money for the renovation, so I can paint, clean up the rooms, doing all that kind of stuff. And it's basically it's the BRRRR method, but through the Morby method. Does that make sense? So the seller is constantly carrying that 30%. So you're sitting there doing the BRRRR method with Marcus and Millichap's commercial loan, and you refinance Marcus and Millichap into a new Marcus and Millichap loan after you've renovated the property and you've spent the construction funds. Marcus and Millichap want you to refinance that into one single loan. And now the seller still carries the other 30% for another 5 years. Is this making sense?
The last part didn't. So you go and renovate it. Let's say it takes 6 months to renovate it. Mm-hmm. Then you go refinance directly after that. Mm-hmm. And okay, so
Nathan, every time you do a BRRRR deal, this tells me you've never done a BRRRR deal before. Is that correct?
No, I've only wholesaled. We
got to stop this, guys. If wholesaling is all we're doing, you guys are going to go broke and wear out. So, and I know you guys know this. Stop wholesaling everything. Start wholesaling 5, keeping 1. Wholesaling 5, keep 1. Wholesale 5, keep 1. You got to stack. Okay. So a BRRRR strategy works like this. 100% of the time, a BRRRR strategy works like this. I go to a lender. Let's call that lender myinvestorloan.com, because I bring it up all the time. Myinvestorloan.com has multiple different types of loans. This is the thing that you guys as non-actual investors don't understand, is that MyInvestorLoan and other lenders don't just have one loan. They have multiple different products. Just like Coke has Diet Coke, Coke Zero, this, that, and the other. Depending on who you are and what you need, we will give you a different type of loan, right? So in the BRRRR strategy, you're actually getting 2 loans. Actually, you're getting 3 loans, okay? In the first part of the transaction, you're getting 2 loans all simultaneously. The first one is the purchase loan. Typically, most of the time, that is an interest-only loan. Why is that an interest-only loan? It's because you want to keep your payment as low as possible as you're renovating the property. So this loan allows you to buy the property, right? 70% typically, which you got to bring the other 30%. But where does the 30% come from in this situation?
It could either come for you, or you could do a transactional lender, a short term.
Or maybe have the seller finance the back end of it, called Morby method.
Okay.
Okay. Right. You could have your own cash. You could have a transactional lender, a private money lender, or you could just have the seller finance that 30% for you, right?
But isn't that a 30% down payment that you have to give to the bank?
Yes.
So how?
You don't, hold on, Nathan. We don't give anything to the bank, brother. You'll never give money to the bank. Where does the money go?
It goes to your down payment goes to the bank so you can start the loan, doesn't it? Okay.
This is great information for Mr. Nathan right now. Why would it give a down payment to a bank? It's not their money.
To start because
that's not how it works.
Okay.
Down payments go to the title and escrow company. They hold your down payment. And when you close the transaction, where does the down payment go?
It goes into the loan, I thought.
No.
No, what? Okay. No, so it goes to the seller.
Yes, because that's who you're buying the property from. So why would anybody but the seller receive that money?
I thought when you do a hard money loan, let's say I need $100,000, I have to pay 20% down. 20% goes to the bank and they finance the rest of the.
No. Okay. No.
Okay.
The down payment always goes to the title and escrow business.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's visually. Wow, man, I didn't know I was going to have to go this basic, but I appreciate it. It's great. This is good.
I mean, I've only been doing this for
Nathan. It's good, bro. I think a lot of people are going to understand this. Guys, please pay attention because you're a knucklehead if you don't understand this. And Nathan, it's okay to be a knucklehead as long as you're learning. At some point, I didn't understand this. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If you have a lender that says send money to me as your down payment, what do we say in that situation? Scam, 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 scam. You never in your effing life will ever send money to a lender, ever. You never give money to a bank, ever, in a loan scenario. Okay? There's one time in the world that I will say it's okay for you to send money directly to the person that is giving you the loan. It's when you are on the auction steps, buying a property on the auction. Typically, the people who are doing the bidding for you, this is a whole nother topic for another day. I'm already overwhelming you with way too much information. But did you know that there's nobody that goes to the courthouse steps and bids on auction properties directly? Did you know that? People think that that's a thing. It's not a thing. A long time ago, very smart people go, we're not going to let any individual in the world bid on properties on the auction. We're going to monopolize that, and we're going to create a bidding service. So in order for you, okay, so Stella says, I didn't know that. I thought we had to go. No. If you go to the bidding service or you go to the auction, you will be outbid by way more intelligent people. They will push you out. It is the good old boys network. They bid you up with each other. Eli, you're not paying attention. They manipulate the entire auction to push the individual out of the auction to essentially create a need for their service. Tiffany says, I went and learned that in person. They will push you out. You as an individual, you go, oh, I'm going to go buy auction properties. Good luck. You're going to go down there, and there's going to be about 10 people down there that all are bidding services. That's what they charge you $2,500 to bid on a property for you. They're smart. And what they all do is there's 15 of them or 20 of them, depending on the state you're in, 5 of them, 3 of them, 2 of them, and they all are there at the auction. They're all logoed up. They're servicing company. They're bidding companies. So when they see an individual, Joe Blow walk up to the county courthouse steps to bid on a property, they look at each other with a twinkle in their eyes. Like, let's get this mother effer. You will be bid out. You go through a bidding service to buy a property on the auction. Did you guys know that? Who did not know that? I'm going to say that again. You will never buy a property directly from the auction, even though that is a possibility, because there are bidding services that have lobbied together. It's a syndicate of individual companies. And yes, they are bidding against each other, but they're all friends. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Damien says, and it discourages the average Joe because they'll never win because they'll think they're always overbid. And here's what happens. They have an agreement with the auctioneer that they all pay the auctioneer behind the scenes to not let an average human being bid on properties. It's an inside job. It's the same thing in every county, same thing in every state. There's not different anywhere. If you've bought a property on the auction, good luck. Like if you think you're going to do it, there's a few people that are old school, like people have been in the business 20 years. They used to be able to do that. Chloe says, wait, I didn't get that to that point. You don't need to. You're not, anybody in here actively trying to buy properties on the auction? Dana says, how is that ethical? It's not. How are real estate agents ethical and how are wholesalers ethical? There's always gray lines everywhere. Okay. So the only time that you should send money to somebody as a down payment on a property is to a bidding service, because they have to close out. Let's say you go, Nathan, you're a bidding service and I'm an individual. I go, hey, Nathan, there's a property coming up on auction on 123 Main Street. I need you to bid on that for me. They go, no problem. Send me $10,000. Okay. Cause they have to show the auctioneer a $10,000 cashier's check on every property that they bid on before they have the possibility to bid on it. Okay. So they go wire us the $10,000. If we don't get the property, we'll wire the $10,000 back to you. Okay. And so what happens is if they get the house, they have to close on that house that day. That day. They have to close on that house that day. So what they do is they wire funds to the auctioneer or the trustee to purchase that property out of the auction, right? That day. It's not a week later, 30 days. Like there's no escrow process. It's that day. Send us the money right now. Okay. So what happens is those bidding services will tell you, hey, we need 20 oh, you got the deal. We got the deal. Wire your funds to the auction house. And you go, I don't have the money. You go, okay, well, we'll give you a loan for 70%, but you got to give us 30%. In that situation only, with an auctioneer, a trustee, and a bidding service, that is the only time in your life that you will ever have to give money to a lender as a down payment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I just didn't realize the process.
Well, now you do.
So
it took me 5 years to understand that. I just summed it up for you in about 6 minutes.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, check this out. Like I'll show you guys something interesting. Let's see, Spencer. All right, here we go. This is something good for you guys to learn right here. Oh, this is, guys, you always want proof that people are just behind the scenes always manipulating. Did you know I'm part of the Illuminati? I'm part of the Illuminati. I'm here behind the scenes manipulating you guys. Do you guys want me to show you how I do it? I'll show you how to do it. Okay. So check this out. Spencer Caldwell, who owns a bidding service in Arizona. Not sure who your go-to auction guy is. So do you guys now know what the hell I'm talking about when you see the go-to auction guy? Do we all know what that means? However, I would love to be your foreclosure auction quote-unquote partner and split whatever fee you guys are charging the client you send my way. As a standard, I typically charge $1,500 flat, but you could get away charging your clients $3,000 and we could just split it. And I was like, hell yeah, let's rock that shit, Spencer. I'm leveraging them manipulating the market. This is called business, human beings. Welcome to the world. You want to be a millionaire? This is the kind of shit that goes on behind closed doors. Get with it or move out of the way. because they ain't stopping for you. It's not stopping for me. No politician gives a, this is not illegal stuff. There's so many different ways to make money in real estate. When people say, I can't make money in real estate, I'm like, dude, there's so many ways to make the money. It's crazy. Crazy. So Spencer Caldwell owns a bidding service. He charges $1,500 just to bid on a property. And I haven't used him in a couple of years because my partner, Lane Peterson, also owns a bidding service. He's one of my buddies are like the 10 people at the auction house. And Lane Peterson is my business partner in one of my title companies. So what do you guys think I'm doing with my people that would need to bid on something? I send them over to Lane because Lane's my partner, right? So Spencer goes, I don't know who you're using, but you could charge him $3,000 and you could just make $1,500 out of that. Guys, do you now understand? There's shit going on like this all the time. In the realtor community, the wholesale community, the title and escrow community, it's going on all the time. Okay. So can we move on from the auction conversation? Because I'm trying to prove a point. Did everybody, was that good? Did anybody learn anything? Was that gold information? No, by the way, you'll never find that anywhere online. You'll never see that online. That's the Illuminati. When people are like, oh, the Illuminati, that's the Illuminati right there. That's the real estate Illuminati, guys. Okay. Now, you might hate it. There's probably somebody in here that goes, that's crap. That pushes me. Guys, you have the same opportunities I do. You have the same opportunities I do. And guess what? Nobody told me this existed. I had to work my ass off for 15 years in construction to meet these people to ultimately sum it up to you in 15 minutes. You have an advantage over me. You have a tremendous advantage over me. So you can cry and say, this is not fair, or you can go, holy shit, I'm so glad that Pace went through 15 years of building relationships and working his guts out so he could tell me that the Illuminati does exist. Okay. By the way, the Illuminati does exist. I am part of it. It's $1,500. If you guys want to bid on a property, just hit your boy up. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to bid on a property, it's only $7,000 for a bidding service, guys. Hit your boy up. Okay. There's a whole nother business model right now. If I go down to Texas, if I go to Louisiana, West Virginia, it doesn't matter. I could just literally start going to people and go, hey, if you ever want to bid on the auction, I'm a great bidder. I'm a great bidder. You don't have to even be a great bidder. You just say you're a great bidder. And then you go tell the person who's bidding at the courthouse steps, hey, if I bring clients to you, can I get half your fee? Okay, guys, literally, that's a whole nother business model. I'm not going to create a series on it, by the way, but it is another business model. Okay, so Nathan, when I go get a loan to do the BRRRR strategy, okay, and I buy a property for $200,000, I'm not going to go get a fully 30-year loan. Okay, we're going to call this a 30-year AM or a 30-year AM. Okay, is what they'll call it. What does AM mean, Nathan?
Amortization.
And what does that mean?
You're gonna have to tell me.
Okay, the word amortization means it pays down over time. An interest-only loan is a lower payment because there's only interest, no principal. But if I get a $200,000 loan with a hard money lender in 1 million years, how much do I still owe that hard money lender after making a payment every single month?
You still owe the 200.
Still owe the 200 grand. That's an interest-only loan, right? My payment is lower, which is good temporarily. But a 30-year amortization or amortized
pays the principal.
In 30 years, it pays down to zero. Means in 30 years, I owe nothing, right? That's the difference between interest only and amortization, right? So when we go do a BRRRR deal, do you know that we're not getting a loan that is a 30-year AM right out of the gate?
I knew that the hard money loans were interest loans. I didn't know that amortization meant that.
So a hard money loan is different than this, brother.
Oh, it is? Okay.
A hard money loan is typically 12 to 14% interest, 2 points. They don't care about your credit. They don't care about anything.
Right. It's property based.
It's property based, right? That's a hard money loan. This is a little different. Okay. This is a commercial, which means they're basing it on you and the business and the property. And they are doing an interest only loan. And because they're actually utilizing a little bit of your credit, it's not a hard pull. It's more of a soft pull. You can get an interest only loan at like 8%. Okay. Our interest only loans at My Investor Loan, I think, are like 8.7%, which is really, really good. Okay. So what does that allow me to do? It allows me now, for me at My Investor Loan, because we're experienced, they give me 90% of the purchase. And they also give me 90% of the renovation. So this is where the second loan comes in. Okay, remember I said it in the beginning, I get 3 loans in a BRRRR deal. The first 2 loans are done simultaneously, while the third loan I haven't brought up yet. But the first 2 loans I get is I get the purchase loan, and then I get the renovation loan. And those together allow me to go and actually renovate, clean up the property, etc. But the problem is, they're both, because I want a low payment while I'm not bringing in any cash flow, right? Because I'm not making any money while I'm renovating, right? So for those 3, 6, 9, 12 months, whatever that term is, that project is hemorrhaging money. So my goal is for it to hemorrhage as little as possible. And so I obtained an interest-only loan when I bought it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that 10% or that 30% down payment that my lender needs, why does that money not go to them? It doesn't go to them because it goes to the title company. So let's say that I go get a $200,000 loan in a normal scenario. I get a purchase price. Okay. Purchase price to the seller is $200,000. Okay. I go to a lender and my lender says, I'll give you $150,000 for your purchase at, let's say, 9% interest. Well, that provides a problem for me. I'm missing $50,000. Okay. And what most people think is that $50,000 goes to the lender. It does not go to the lender. Both of these amounts of money, okay, this 150 grand and this 50 grand, go to this magical thing called a title and escrow business, or in some people's states, it's called a closing attorney. And they hold that money in their account until the escrow is over, and then they disperse that $200,000 to the seller. So your lender, where'd this 50 grand come from? Okay, this 50 grand came from either your own cash, it came from a transactional lender, or it came from a partner, came from a credit card, wherever it freaking came from. Okay, that's where that $50,000 comes from. Okay. Now, in the Morby method, I got to mute you, Nathan. There's something going on in the background. I think you're in a factory or something. I'm just kidding. Okay, so in the Morby method, what I'm going to do is I go get, well, here, let me fix that real fast. Check this out. So if I go this route and I bring on a partner, the problem with bringing on a partner for this 50 grand is, what does my partner want? My partner wants 50% of the profit of the deal. See how that's problematic? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's problematic. Bringing on a partner can be problematic. So I would say that's cool. Well, that's one way of doing it. A credit card can be problematic if you don't have a credit card. Okay. But also, how do you pay off that credit card in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, right? So that can be problematic too, but it is a possibility to do it that way. A transactional lender, what's the problem with a transactional lender is that a transactional lender only wants to lend their money for 1 to 3 days at a time. So you buy this deal, you close escrow, and that transactional lender is going to start calling you, Nathan, and going, where's my freaking $50,000? Okay. We already know the problem of using your own cash, okay, because that hinders your ability to do more deals. So what you do is you go, all right, well, I'll bring in a transactional lender for just 1 to 3 days. And that money goes and sits inside of the title and escrow business because it never went to the lender, never has, never will ever go to the lender. The lender doesn't receive that money. The seller does, because the seller's the one selling the house, not the lender. What then ends up happening is that money comes from a transactional lender into the title company. Upon the closing and the transaction is over, that $50,000 actually gets refunded back to the transactional lender from your seller, because your seller said they're willing to carry your remaining 30% down payment. Does that make sense? So the only reason, listen to this, the only reason I needed that transactional lender, this is where everybody gets lost on the Morby method, is they go, well, if the seller is willing to seller finance that 30%, then why do you need a down payment in the first place? Because your lender wants to see you put physical skin in the game. So you have to put transactional lending up for just a day, couple of days. Transaction closes, lender, your main lender, myinvestorloan.com, goes away. They go away. They're happy. Okay. And then the next day, your seller tells the title company, they've already told them because your paperwork was structured properly, hey, go ahead and disperse that 30% or that 50 grand back to the buyer. And then you create an agreement called a second position note and deed of trust. And you attach that to the property for security. Okay. That's the Morby method. The Morby method is you only needed the money for a day or two. How many transactional lenders are in this group, by the way? Say me in the side.
Okay, so I have a question about where does the money come from? Let's say you need $10,000 to close for that couple of days, and then the transactional lender wants $1,000 on top of the offer. Where's that extra $1,000?
Perfect. This tells me you have not watched the Morby method training because I deep dive into this, but that's perfectly fine. I say that because I know you didn't watch it. I'm not getting mad at you. I'm just highlighting the fact that it does exist. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to remind you guys something. We've been doing this for 2 years. There's literally not a question I have not answered in an hour or 2 hour or 3 hour or 4 hour, even deep dive on a specific question with drawings and all the things. Can we all agree with that? Even if you're brand new, you don't know what you don't know. And I get that. I'm just letting you know that any question you come up with, we have answered it in a deep dive Zoom that is in the vault. The problem is you don't know what to look at. And so Nathan, I have to commend you again. You're running into problems and scenarios that force you to have to go learn specific things. So kudos to you. Okay. So this is the way we structure our deal. Okay. If I buy a property from a seller at $200,000, okay, I'm going to get typically $150,000 from my lender, and I need to then bring in $50,000 transactional funding from a partner. Okay. What ends up happening is instead of the seller getting that 150 grand, the seller ends up getting about 130 grand because I'm going to take my closing costs. Let's say I've got $10,000 in closing costs and I've got $10,000 in, maybe I paid somebody an assignment fee or something got paid out of that. And so the seller really only gets $130,000 dispersed to them in that transaction, technically. So what I do is I take this $20,000 that the seller took out of their proceeds. Are you following me, Nathan?
Yep.
Okay. I take that out And that 50 grand that the seller is going to carry, I add 20 grand to it for the costs. And I actually end up having the seller carry $70,000. So at the end of the Morby method, I actually bought this property for about $220,000 because I had the seller pay for $20,000 of my costs. So I'm into the deal, no money out of pocket. Does that make sense?
Okay, and part of that, the 10,000 miscellaneous would be that transactional lender's fee.
Yeah, we'll just call it whatever it is. Every deal is going to have something different. Sometimes somebody brings you a deal like a wholesaler and you got to pay them. Like you got a wholesaler bringing you a deal in this situation, right?
Yeah, he's going to get paid.
He's going to get paid. How is he going to get paid? Is you're going to have the seller instead of taking the 150 as the down payment, the seller is only going to take 130 and then seller finance the rest. And that $20,000 he's foregoing allows you to pay for closing costs, assignment fee, all of the things, transactional lender, everything. And then there's another deal you'll do in 6 months where you don't have the need for an assignment fee because at some point, Nathan, you'll go, all right, I'm going to go do some of my own things, right?
Right.
I'm going to go direct to seller. I don't have to pay an assignment fee on everything, right?
Okay, so from what I'm understanding, if I go find a buyer for this hotel and they are open to the seller financing and they have they can go get a loan for themselves for the hotel, and then they will seller finance the rest, and all of the fees that come out of the wholesale fee and all the lending fee, if there is a lending fee, any of that, that's all going to come out of the seller finance portion.
That is correct. So
Okay.
let's say the seller says, I need $2.5 million. I'm going to go find a lender that's going to give me probably $2.7 million.
Okay.
Because a lot of times I can pay myself up front, right? Like we just did a Morby method Zoom on yesterday with Logan Manzanares, where he did a Morby method and paid himself $3,700 up front. Not only did closing costs get paid for and all these things get taken care of, everything got paid for. He was in the deal, no money out of pocket, and paid himself $3,700.
Yeah, now I fully understand yesterday what you guys were talking about after this, because I was lost. Yeah, I was like, I still don't understand how he got paid. So now this makes sense.
Cool. Great questions, right? So going back to this, if you go to you go to a buyer, okay, this is gold for a buyer. Hey, buyer, I've got a hotel that I've structured a way that you can be $0 in this deal out of your pocket. Are you interested in acquiring more real estate? And they go, wait, what? Say, well, I found a lender that will give 70% of the loan and the seller will give me a 30% seller carry. So essentially you can walk into this deal, no money out of pocket. Now, here's the challenge, Nathan. On this particular deal, here's the challenge. Somebody's going to have to bring $1.5 million in cash to the table for 2 days to make this deal work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot.
Not really. When you're brand new, that sounds like the world is going to end if you had to come up with $1.5 million tomorrow. Okay, I can tell you right now, if we all said, hey, we're going to go buy a Morby method hotel, you think I could raise $1.5 million in here and tell everybody in here that you'll get your money back? Think about this, Nathan. You could actually raise $1.5 million right now in this Zoom. I could guarantee it because there's people in here I've taken over $1 million from easy. Okay. This is not YouTube and this is not some lame ass wholesale mentorship. These people have money. Okay. And we're in here actually doing deals. There's a lot of buyers in here. This is not just about wholesaling and pitching sellers on how can I take something that I don't own and sell it to somebody else and make a split. I do that a lot too. But I'm going to talk shit about wholesaling so much until you realize that at the end of the day, if all you do is wholesale, you're going to wake up in 2 years and go, what the hell have I been doing with my life?
No, I definitely want to acquire my own properties.
I know.
I'm
planting the seed. Planting the seed. Okay. So here's the thing. I could raise, see, Ramon says, I've got $100,000 right now. Let's go get a hotel. Who has 10 grand in here? Who has 20 grand in here? Who has 30 grand in here? Let's throw out, how much money are you guys willing to throw out? 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand, 80 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand, 1K, 100K, 100K, 30K, 20K, 10K, 10K, 300K, 100K, 100K, 12K.
Got it.
You think we have a problem raising money? Deshaun says he has 500. Dennis says he has 550K. He's in New Jersey. That's drug money. Don't take any money from Dennis, guys. That's drug money, okay? He owns a waste management business, guys. Okay. Guys, there's literally $2 million in this side chat right now that just got typed in here. And then all you have to do is you need that money for a day. You need it for a day. So you go to your fellow students, you go, hey guys, let's do a hotel together. Morby method hotel. Bro, I can't even believe people don't even understand how powerful this damn group is. I just raised $2 million for your deal in like one question. Where else can you go to do that? People are like, oh, how do I raise money? Go read a book, go to a seminar, go pay somebody 30 grand how to learn how to raise money. Or you can just come in here and hang out with the Subto community and you go do a deal freaking together. Look at Julie. She got 50 grand. So if you tell everybody, hey, I'll give you partial ownership of this hotel. I just need the 1.5 million for, actually, hey, Nathan, assign this deal to me. I'll pay you $10,000.
Okay.
And then get out of my way, and I'm going to go own the hotel with no money in my pocket, and I'm going to give ownership to everybody else that funded my money for one day. Think about that. I could go to everybody in this group and go, hey, guys, let's pool at 1.5 million together. I'm going to fund the deal for one day. And then 2 days later, everybody gets their money back, but I'm going to give everybody a couple percentages of this deal. That's gangster. That's called syndication. That's what we do. But here's the cool thing about Morby method syndication is that while everybody else has to keep their $1.5 million into these apartment buildings for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, Morby method, you're into the deal $0 out of pocket after the seller refunds that seller carry. Damn, give me this deal, dog.
I just need your information. I'll send it to you.
I mean, I just saw it on LoopNet. I'm just going to go to the seller directly. Don't worry about it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He has other, here's the crazy part about this guy. He has other ones. That's not the only one. So there's more to come. It's not just this one. So if you want
guys, do you understand you are in the best place on earth? You should be able to do these types of things in here. Stop thinking like a wholesaler. Wholesaling is a tool that you should use. It is not the tool. It is a tool. Okay? In fact, wouldn't that be cool for us to go own a hotel together and go, we all funded it for a day. All of our money came back. Now we have a commercial loan and a seller carry, and we're going to all own a hotel together. In fact, that's what I would do, Nathan. See if you can get the seller down to, if you get the seller down to a $2 million down payment, I will do the deal with you and I'll run point on the whole thing. I'll raise the money. I'll get the securities put together because you got to get a securities attorney involved in this, right?
Okay.
And we can do a Morby method hotel to get deal together. And it's in West Virginia, Nina.
So yeah, do you want me to put my email in the chat or how do you want me to contact you on that?
Is that a dog in the background? What is that?
That's not mine.
But is it a dog?
I have a dog, but I don't have any noise.
Oh, it's because I forgot to mute everybody in here. This is what happens. My gosh. You guys messing up my audio on this. You guys got a dog scratching at his bowl. Feed your damn dog. That's what I imagine it is. It sounds like a dog scratching at his bowl. Okay. So what do we got? What do you want?
I just need your info so I can reach out if I can talk them down. Or I can send my info to you so you don't have a bunch of people send you stuff if private.
Call Tanisha.
Call Tanisha. Okay. She's in my
Tanisha's my
accountability.
point girl on this.
Okay.
On all my Morby method deals, Tanisha runs point on those.
So you just need me to talk them down on the down payment, anything under 2 million.
Yep, $2 million or less.
Okay.
And we need the second position seller carry to have no payments for 5 years.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll go do. You don't want me to find a buyer? You just because you're gonna buy it. You're buying it. That's
I will buy it with the students.
Okay.
We are buying it.
We are buying it. Gotcha. Okay.
We are buying it. We will all, anybody that wants to pitch in money, what we'll do is anybody even has $1,000. I'll let anybody even with $1,000 pitch in and become a small part owner of it. And all you have to do is fund it for a day. We'll fund it for a day, get all your money back, and you'll be owners of this deal.
I'll even put in my own money for this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I'll call Tanisha after the Zoom.
I'll even take $100. There's somebody in here that's like, shit. I paid New Reach my last payment. New Reach is the company I partnered with on the mentorship. That's who you guys pay. You guys don't pay me. You pay. There's probably somebody like, damn. Where can we fund it? You can fund it. I'll create an LLC together, and we'll form a partnership. Actually, maybe I'll put this in the NFT project. That'd be cool. Okay.
Do you want me to bring other hotel and or this guy has apartment buildings too? I can talk to him about that. Do you want me to do that as well?
Do you imagine a world where I say no?
I don't know. I've only been here for like 10 days. I don't know.
You know what? Here's the funny thing is like I find that anybody that's in here for less than 30 days and they've already gotten their value out of the group, it's smarter for us to just let them out of the group. You're free to leave anytime you want.
Oh, hell no.
In 10 days. This is the value you get, guys. All right. So work with my girl, Tanisha, on all that stuff. She'll run point. And what we'll do is I'll put it in the NFT project or whatever it is, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure that out.
All right.
Go work out the call with the seller, bring it back to Tanisha. Okay?
Sounds good.
Good work, Nathan. Good work.
Thank you.